you've been living your whole life, day to day, moment by moment, essentially oblivious to the fact that you are the I am feeling, and that the I am feeling in you is the only acting power in the world around you. Be aware that you are something beyond this body, something eternal, pure consciousness, pure being. Get to know the transcendent dimension of yourself as who you really are. I want to show you guys how we are going to apply the 3 disciplines of the personality, which we've been talking a lot about. How do we apply the 3 disciplines to our conscious use of the I am? And this is gonna flip on a lot of light bulbs, I think, when you see these 3 principles in the way that we use I am. So the 3 disciplines, as we know, are know thyself, accept thyself, and become the creator. So in our practice, in our use, and in our daily application of the great I am power within us, of stepping into I am, becoming the creator, which is I am, the first discipline has to be used first, which is know thyself. And as you all know, the way that I like to also summarize the first discipline is self-awareness. Yeah, self-awareness is the first discipline. Be aware of yourself. Firstly, see the behavior patterns, the thought patterns, the parts of ego that are running you and pretending to be you. Be aware of those things so you can begin correcting them and stepping away from them. And then be aware of who you truly are in your divine self, the Christ self. Be aware that you are something beyond this body, something eternal, pure consciousness, pure being. Get to know the transcendent dimension of yourself as who you really are. That's the first discipline, right? So awareness of self, or self-awareness, would correlate to awareness of I am. And so let's begin here with awareness of I am. When we step into this practice of the conscious use of the I am power, we have to begin with building a foundation of awareness of I am, right? Because you've been living your whole life, day to day, moment by moment, essentially oblivious to the fact that you are the I am feeling, and that the I am feeling in you is the only acting power in the world around you. The same I am power that is circulating your blood right now, breathing your lungs, beating your heart, performing all bodily activities without any involvement on your part consciously. That same power that's in you is also moving the clouds across the atmosphere right now, growing the grass on your front lawn, shining the solar energy from the sun, organizing all the activities of the planets in the universe. There's only one power acting. Yeah? But you've been oblivious to it. So where else should you start other than practicing awareness of it? Awareness of the one power. What do we say? 2 powers do not exist. I am resting in one power. Can you see how there's no real use to try to call upon your I am to solve your problems and try to put the I am into activity in your world if you're not even aware of it yet? If you don't even experience it happening in your world yet, if you're not aware that there is just one power acting everywhere, and beings are either using it or misusing it, but there's just one power. If you can't see that yet, maybe it's better for you to practice seeing it first. And that would be through contemplation, daily contemplation on the one power, the great I am, yeah? Contemplate, meditate upon it, fix your attention on it. That's the first discipline, right? Get to know this power that is you. And you have to know that it is everywhere. It is the only power that can act. And that's the basis for non-doership. And so there's an interesting quote from Jesus I'm going to paste here for you, where Jesus actually explains how this practice increases your frequency. Jesus says, the conscious recognition and use of the I am presence, which you are, steadily raises the vibratory action of your atomic structure, unclothing and liberating the electronic activity which is hidden within the atom, enabling you to become self-luminous beings. So can you see how we know the density's progression, right? First, second, third, through seventh. We know that in fourth density, the light body, what's called the light body, begins to form in physical evolution, because the density of light, the density of vibration of the photon in every cell is picking up in frequency, so that there's more density of light, which means we would see more light coming from the body. And through fourth density, which is about 30 million years of evolution, eventually we get to the fifth density, where the body is completely light. It's pure electromagnetic energy. And that's because the conscious use, application, knowledge, love of the self, as Ramana Maharshi calls it, the self, the I am, increases through the densities. The more and more we know who we are, the more and more self-realization is gained through the journey of evolution, the more light is infused in the atoms, right? The more the frequency picks up until eventually we become pure light. And so we're beginning that process of becoming the light body right now, here in third density. So Jesus is saying in this amazing quote that as you recognize, number one, that's first discipline, awareness of I am, and use it, that'd be the third discipline, become the creator. It raises that vibratory action in the atoms, and the electrons begin loosing more of their, he calls it electronic activity, enabling you to become self-luminous, filled with light. So it's the awareness and the use of I am that increase that energy within our body and picks up our frequency. And as our frequency picks up, we have more and more access to God consciousness. God consciousness exists on a frequency spectrum, right? You'll never access God consciousness in a second or third density frequency range. You have to lift to at least the fourth density or higher to begin accessing God consciousness. Before that, it's body consciousness, it's physicality consciousness, right? Separation. So picking up our frequency is really the byproduct of our spiritual practices, but it's not the end in and of itself, it's the means to the end, right? We only care about raising our frequency because it gives us more access to the God state. And so when we place our attention upon our own I am as often as possible, when we contemplate that the great I am power is the only power acting in the universe, we see it in nature, we see it in other people, we see it in ourselves, our frequency begins to rise. This is why literally anyone can take mushrooms or ayahuasca, or even, heavy doses of cannabis or something can do it, and put you in God consciousness like that within minutes, right? Where all of a sudden you're just pristinely aware of the one energy of the universe everywhere, that you're a part of it, that all's a part of it. I mean, that's like a kindergarten level realization when you take a plant medicine. You're actually sort of like, how did I not see this before, right? How have I not seen this obvious truth that there's only one power in the universe? But when the medicine wears off, what happens? We go back down into our normal frequency range of third density consciousness, where we're kind of shut out from that awareness. That's because the plant medicine picked up our frequency high enough for a time that we could be in the God consciousness state until the medicine wears off. So you see, this is all about raising your frequency, and the conscious use of this practice increases your frequency. Even just the awareness of your I am, thinking of it, meditating on it, contemplating it throughout the day will raise your frequency in and of itself. And so once this awareness of the I am presence is established, then you can begin drawing upon it and putting it to use. Then we have the second discipline, accept thyself, or as I like to say, love thyself. Now, we've been talking a lot about how to qualify our thoughts with emotion. that the way we qualify any thought or intention is by charging it with a positive emotion. And we also can do this with negative emotions, right? If we think about something with a lot of negative emotion, we're also sending that out into the universe. So that's why we have to be very mindful and aware of our thought activity and correct any negative or errant thoughts and requalify them with love, with light, with truth, because we're always creating based on our combination of thought and feeling. So we have thought in the sense of awareness of I am. We know we are I am. We believe it. We're convicted. Now we need to begin practicing loving the I am, right? Charging I am with love. Practice loving your I am, worshiping it, exalting it in your heart throughout the day, because that's the charge that actually builds up the polarization. Sometimes now upon waking up, I wake up in the middle of a kind of worship service going on in my subconscious mind, or a prayer or something like that to the I am, where some deep part of me is talking to it and praising it. I praise the great I am today for enfolding me in your peace, in your love, and in your presence. I give thanks for your mighty power in action in my life today. And I know and affirm that I am the only power acting, omnipotent and omnipresent, pervading all, filling every need on demand, and pouring yourself forth in all activity. Fill me this day with the awareness of you, with the worship of you and the love of you, that I might manifest your power, your presence in my life today. That can flow out of you spontaneously all through your day, right? There's no restriction to this practice of worshiping, glorifying, exalting the I am presence, because you're charging it every time you do that, right? Loving something is the greatest way of acknowledging its existence. To love something is the most powerful way to affirm something. So love the I am, love it all day long, right? Make it your favorite activity. And I promise you, if you do start doing that, you're gonna find a whole lot of happiness starts bubbling up within you. And you'll find at a certain point, when the inertia of this love and this attention on I am is active enough in you, it's like a snowball rolling downhill, in the sense that it starts to loose itself into activity without your attention on it even. You'll be doing something else, washing dishes, and this I am affirmation just dawns in your mind. Something is affirming the I am in you, and you just say yes to it. I am the presence of love at all times. And the joy that you feel when you affirm that in yourself. You know, this is the power of practicing being happy as often as possible by remembering the wondrous, beautiful I am presence dwelling in you and knowing it to be all power in the universe. This is how we step into our divinity, right? Know thyself as I am, love thyself as I am, and then from that foundation, with a conscious awareness and an abiding love for I am, we can easily step into become the creator. We have so much charge built up now to begin loosing thought into activity, qualifying every thought as we will it, and watching how every I am declaration we make always returns to us victorious. Because it does and it will. Practicing the conscious use of I am with our life catalysts, you may notice that it seems to take some time before you see that I am declaration return to you successful. Even if you're practicing never canceling it out with a negative thought or a fearful thought. You speak your word in intention into action, and you let it go and trust it. And then maybe, a month or two later, the situation resolves and you remember, there's my manifestation. I am declared a thing and the thing was made manifest. But as you continue using the I am and building that charge, that polarization, you will watch the time it takes for your I am to manifest decrease and decrease more and more, right? It happens faster and faster. And you'll start to be amazed at how fast you can manifest just by the fact that you live and abide in the I am state And so the I am power in you, literally in the electrons, in the atoms of your cells, is being unleashed more and more all the time. So you have more power to draw upon. So make no mistake, you do have all power within you in potential. Don't ever get that twisted. But you gotta earn the right to use it. How? Through this practice. Prove to the universe you know who you are and you love who you are, and it'll allow more and more of that I am power to be unleashed in your world, in your energy, in your aura. More of it is consciously available to you, right? I'm gonna paste this quote too. Wrong ideas register most quickly and intensely in the brain structure because that is the field of atomic activity. However, the attention held upon the I am presence so releases the power of the perfection, which is within the electron at the center of the atom, that the wrong ideas and obstruction to the light simply dissolve and disappear. So basically what Saint Germain is saying here, right, is if our attention's on the outer things, the outer world, then we're intensifying that negative energy more and more. So we have to, although we can be aware of what's happening in the outer, fix our attention upon the inner, right, the I am presence. And Saint Germain is saying as we do that, that power in the electron is released into activity more and more so that our problems can be dissolved with the light of truth. So we can bring a higher level of consciousness, of energy, of frequency to the problems in the world. So now let's get into the third discipline, the conscious use of I am. Becoming the creator, that's, as we've been saying, qualifying our thoughts. Saint Germain also says, surrounding each individual is a thought world created by him or her. Within this thought world is the seed, the divine presence, the I am, which is the only acting presence there is in the universe and which directs all energy. This energy can be intensified beyond any limit through the conscious activity of the individual. So you, as the creator, have unlimited ability to utilize the I am. And why is that? Because you're actually always using it, right? To the limited level that third density beings have access to the I am power, relatively limited, right? From the perspective of third density, it's very powerful. I mean, we see the way that people are misusing it and abusing it in the world in very powerful ways. But compared to the way a fourth density being can utilize it, I mean, a fourth density being could walk into the room full of negatively polarized third density beings and just silence the activity immediately with the love and the light emanating from them. The power that a being on that level of frequency emanates is actually not comprehensible to us here. We can feel it immediately in their presence, right? Even enlightened third density beings, famous sages such as Ramana and Nisargadatta, are said to have had this emanation, these waves of frequency that would emit from their aura while people sat in their presence, and people would just become quiet. Their mind would just become silent. They would realize the self spontaneously in their presence because the frequency is charged. And that's a third density body emitting that frequency. Imagine what a fourth density body can emit. Up to 5 times more energy, right? So as we practice increasing our frequency through these know thyself, love thyself, and the conscious use of I am, we have to start using our life catalysts to practice using I am, yeah? Your life, as we say, is the sadhana. Your life experiences is the practice field and the playing field for your conscious use of I am. So what this means practically, if there's let's say a financial need that comes about, you say, I am the infinite abundance of the universe supplying this need right now. And then what you don't do after you affirm I am and set it into motion with the thought and the charged feeling, what you don't do is look around for where the problem has been answered already. You let the I am do that, right? The physical intellect can't perceive the workings of the invisible I am power. So don't even let it try to do so, because it's immediately going to go into doubt. What happens is, let's say, let's use the example that somebody feels called to give you money out of nowhere, right? Someone's just like, I need to send Aaron $1,000. I don't know why, I'm just feeling called to do it. The moment I affirmed, I am the infinite abundance of the universe, supplying this need right now. Immediately, the I am energy went forth from me because of my charged feeling of love, gratitude, courage, confidence. It went out and entered into someone else's mind as a thought about Aaron. And so maybe they thought about me that day. I wonder how Aaron's doing. I'm sending him love. And then the next day they feel the compulsion growing, saying, I think Aaron needs some money. I'm just gonna send him a check in the mail. And then they write the check, and then they go to the post office and they deliver it. And then 4 days later, 5 days later, I get a check in the mail. So do you see how that's a very simplistic way that the I am went into action right away, but in the illusion of time, the 3D linear universe, it appears like it took time for that problem to be solved. But in reality, the problem was solved immediately as I declared it with faith, conviction, love, and knowledge. It went into action, and it says, this word cannot return to you void in the Bible. God's word cannot return to it void. So if you have a conflict between yourself and somebody else, say, I am the presence of divine love, resolving this conflict, opening every heart to perfect forgiveness right now. You can declare that intention with a feeling of gratitude or compassion or love towards that person. And the I am goes to work in their mind, right? A seed is sown immediately where their heart is softened. And it will not violate their free will, but it will give them as much assistance as they could want to truly move towards forgiveness. And in you, it resolves the unforgiveness, doesn't it? So again, problem is solved immediately. So the more that you love I am, the more power you have to declare these things, right? When you love something, love brings passion and conviction, right? When you know, let's say, when a child knows that its mother or its father loves them, a child would never believe a stranger saying, hey, your mommy or daddy left you here all alone to die. The child would immediately know that that's a lie because they know their mother loves them. They know their father loves them. It cannot be doubted. So in the same way, when you love the I am as the only protection, the only presence, the only love, the only joy in your life, in your very being, then you draw upon that love when you call the I am into action. Saint Germain says, to find your I am presence and anchor to it is the only desirable thing to do. Until you come to this point of firm anchorage to your great I am presence, of course it is necessary to solve your problems as they come along. But how much better is it to enter in and set free that mighty presence, energy, and action which has already solved the problems before they appear to you. So you see what is being touched on here is that as we're growing into this consciousness of I am and living from the place where we're always using it for every problem, every circumstance in our life, we no longer think that we can go act in the physical dimension separate from the I am power, right? Well, I'm not very good at calling on I am yet, so let me just go talk to that person and try to resolve it myself. See the duality there? The you that wants to go talk to them is I am. The intelligence by which you have the ability to talk is I am. The thoughts in your mind about what you're going to say is I am. Or you're already in it. You're already operating in it all the time, but you're not aware of it. As Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is already present and at hand and spread across the earth, but men are unaware of it. So here's one last tip to close this sermon, I guess, is that the powerful state of being to use and call upon I am from is a calm, poised, and confident, certain state of consciousness, meaning we should watch for how we feel and react in the mind to when we try to declare I am. So I use the example of a financial crisis, and you say, no, I'm done with that. I'm done giving in to lack beliefs and being in fear of paying this bill. I'm done. I am the abundance of the universe supplying this very need right now. And you bring your feeling to it just like that. And then a little ego thought comes up and says, you don't really believe that. You really believe this woo-woo stuff? I am this and that? Come on, you know it's all bullshit, really. And the doubting mind is very active, trying to depolarize your qualified thought. Can you notice that? Be aware of that voice and correct it. I renounce all fear, I renounce all disbelief in the I am power, and I again affirm I am the only acting presence in my life. I am the only acting power. There is only one. And as you do that, you start to be able to speak the I am into action with a calm, poised certainty. Like, yes, there is a lot of emotion being felt in you. There's a lot of a charge, but you've mastered the charge, right? So it doesn't necessarily throw you into an ecstatic state, although if you can get to an ecstatic state, fantastic. But at a certain point, like, we don't see great ascended masters being thrown into ecstatic states when they declare a thing, right? The sage is always poised, still inside, present, alert, and aware, confident beyond all comprehension, because they know the I am, right? If you really, really know it, it's like, what is there to get all worked up about? It's just the truth, and you just declare the truth into action. So practicing using I am in your life as you affirm it to solve every problem, use it with a calm, poised certainty. Can you access that in yourself right now? Can you contact that part of you that is calm, poised, present, and certain of the I am power? And then from that place, declare your word into action. That's what looses the energy in the electron, right? The electron is your energy, but if you don't know who you are as I am, how can you access it? It's like trying to get into a building with the wrong secret password or something. If you think you're a separate self, if you think you're just a body, a physical person in a physical world, separate and alone, trying to figure this thing out, you can't call upon that energy that's secretly being held in the atoms of every cell, right? They're waiting for you to connect to the truth of who you are. I am the life force energy that fills this body and floods every cell. I am the presence that breathes my lungs and beats my heart. Then those cells start responding, because that's the right secret password, isn't it? I am is the password to the universe. I am is the secret of all true knowledge. Because whatever you put your attention on, you merge with it, right? You become it. To say I am, to give your attention to something, is to become that thing. So in that way, you'll watch this power manifesting in your life quicker and quicker. The more your frequency rises, the more you build confidence in, awareness of, and love for the beautiful, glorious I am in you. The faster it will go into activation in your life because your frequency is rising. And when your frequency rises, you have more access to the God power. And isn't that a perfect design? Like, come on, we got to give credit where credit's due, man. Isn't that the most intelligent design you could possibly think of for this universe, for the journey of evolution? That we literally have to evolve into the awareness of, the love of, and the use of I am before we can truly access the power of it. Somebody on the negative polarity who's seeing separation only, believing themselves to be separate, and trying to take power over others, can't access the I am the way that the positive polarity can. They don't have the same powers of creation that a positive being does. That's why the negative polarization has to rely on deception, manipulation, tricks of the mind to coerce people into giving their power. The negative polarity has no power in and of themselves because they skip the heart chakra. Love, the center of all power, they skip over that chakra, and so they have to borrow the power from other beings and then weaponize it against them for enslavement and control. So that is, to me, the most brilliant design I could possibly imagine, because it honors free will, but it doesn't allow for, the incomprehensible destruction and violence we would see all over the galaxy if very unevolved beings could unleash the full God power at the level of Christ or something, right? We'd be in big trouble. And so thankfully the Creator installed this framework that if you want to use it, you got to earn it first. And through the responsible use of it, nurturing it every day in your awareness, in your heart, in your love, and then slowly beginning to use it, you got to start somewhere. You got to crawl before you can walk. What's the crawl? Know thyself. Know the I am within you. What's the learning how to walk? Loving the I am. Yeah, loving the I am presence with all your heart, all your soul, mind, and strength. And what's running, sprinting, becoming the Creator. So there you have it. Do you see the correlation here? The 3 disciplines are the 3 ways, step by step, that we emerge into the I am state and begin harnessing the God power that's already been given to us, but we've been unaware of it. Yeah, we're just stepping into the awareness, charging it with love, and then practicing its utilization. Awesome. So good, man. Fired myself up today.